Good morning. Good morning. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Redemption series. This podcast is a battleground for anyone trying to rebuild their life from the ground up. No fake perfection here, just raw, honest conversations about faith, recovery, and becoming exactly who God created you to be. A place where we talk about faith, healing, redemption, purpose, and the real life struggles we all face while following God. Now, pain may be a part of your story, but redemption can be too. Today's message is called Small Steps, Big Changes. And let me start by asking y'all, have you ever looked at someone else's life and thought, how they get there? Maybe they're walking closely with God. Maybe they've overcome addiction. Maybe they've restored their marriage. Maybe they've rebuilt their life after prison. Or maybe they've found peace after years of anxiety. From the outside, it looks like their life changed overnight. But here's the cold, hard truth. Most life changing transformations don't happen overnight. They happen one decision, one prayer, one act of obedience, one small step at a time. The enemy wants you to believe that because you're not making giant leaps, that you ain't making progress. But God often works through small steps, faithful steps that lead to life-changing results. Now, before we dive in this morning, what's one small step you've taken that ended up changing your life? You never know whose life story your story might encourage today. Now, we often pray for big opportunities, big blessings, big breakthroughs. But God frequently begins with honoring faithfulness in the little things. Jesus said in Luke 16:10, whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. Now let's think about that. Before David wore a crown, he faithfully cared for sheep. Before Joseph ruled Egypt, he remained faithful in slavery and prison. Before the disciples preached to thousands, they simply answered Jesus' invitation to follow him. God is watching what we do with today's opportunities. The little things matter, y'all. What's one small thing God has been asking you to stay faithful in? Now, sometimes we need the entire plan before we'll move, but God usually gives us enough light for the next step. That one small step of obedience can change everything. Psalm 119 and 105 says, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Now, notice something. A lamp doesn't usually light up the whole room. It gives just enough light for the next few steps. And that's how faith works. God often reveals tomorrow after we obey today. Don't underestimate one phone call, one apology, one prayer, one Bible verse, one act of forgiveness, one decision to stay sober, one day of choosing hope over despair. Small steps become life changing journeys. Now, what's one step of obedience you've been putting off because it seems too small to matter? Let's talk about it. Most people believe success comes from huge moments, but lasting transformation usually comes from consistency. Consistency beats occasional greatness. Reading your Bible today, praying tomorrow, choosing forgiveness the next day, showing up again and again. Galatians 6 and 9 reminds us, let us not become weary in good doing, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Now, notice it doesn't say if we do something amazing one time, it says if we do not give up. Consistency is what keeps us moving when motivation fades. What's one healthy habit you're trying to build right now? Maybe we can encourage each other to stay consistent. Now, sometimes we're waiting for God to change our situation, but God changes hearts before he changes circumstances. He's working on us first. He's changing our attitude, our perspective, our patience, strengthening our faith. Ezekiel 36 and 26 says, I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit in you. God isn't just interested in changing your surroundings. He's interested in transforming your heart. And that transformation happens little by little. Every time you choose grace over bitterness, faith over fear, God's truth over the enemy's lies, hope over despair, looking back, how has God changed your heart over this last year? I'd love to hear your testimony. One of my favorite verses is found in Zechariah 4 and 10. It says, Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. Now think about that. God rejoices when you begin. He celebrates your first step, your first prayer, your first day sober, your first act of forgiveness, your first Bible study, your first time serving, your first attempt to trust Him again. The world celebrates finished projects and finished products. God celebrates faithful beginnings. Don't compare your chapter 2 to someone else's chapter 20. Keep taking the next faithful step because those small beginnings are preparing you for something bigger than you can imagine. What new beginning are you stepping into right now? Let's celebrate every step forward together. And maybe you're listening today and you're discouraged because your progress feels slow. Maybe you're thinking, I'm not where I want to be. Can I remind you of something? You're also not where you used to be, and that's worth celebrating. Philippians 1 and 6 says, being confident of this, and he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Jesus Christ. God is still working. Every prayer you pray matters. Every step you take matters. Every act of obedience matters. Every day you choose Jesus matters. Don't let slow progress convince you that God isn't moving. Mountains aren't climbed in one giant leap. They're climbed one faithful step at a time. So keep walking, keep trusting, and keep believing because those small steps are leading to big changes. Just keep your faith. And remember, big transformations are usually built on small decisions made consistently. Never underestimate what God can do with one willing heart taking one faithful step at a time. Before we go, I want to leave you with a final question. What's one small step you're committed to take this week to grow closer to God or become the person He's calling you to be? Let's encourage one another, pray for one another, and celebrate every small step because every step matters. So keep taking the next step and keep growing. Keep fighting. This is the Redemption Series where pain meets purpose. Until next time, I love y'all.